AEW Dynasty 2024 is taking place on Sunday, April the 21st in St. Louis, Missouri. This video, I'm going to go and give you the match card predicted. That's right, at the time of recording, we know one match officially on the card, which will be Will Ospreay versus Bryan Danielson. I'll give my thoughts on that towards the end of the video, a small preview and early prediction. And we've got a TBS Championship match as well as a Fatal 4-Way is going to determine a #1 contender on Dynamite this week. But that leaves the rest of the card wide open. I'm going to go from scratch and say what matches I think will be on the show, and when it comes to the time of doing the actual predictions the week of the show, we can look back at this video and see how many I got correct. So let's start with the AEW World Championship. I've got Samoa Joe, the champion, defending against Swerve Strickland. Once Swerve beats Takeshita on Dynamite this evening, I believe he will officially make his name claimed as the #1 contender to go for Samoa Joe. And of course, well, these two were facing off at Revolution. Hangman Adam Page was the other man in that match who lost. Swerve didn't, so he's got a rightful claim to go for this championship one more time. Swerve has been carrying around a chain recently as well, saying he's been using this to choke some victims out. So I think we're getting a stipulation added to this match. I think we're going to bring back Tony Khan's favourite, the dog collar match. We've seen some classics in AEW up to this point. Of course, Brody Lee against Cody Rhodes. We've seen CM Punk versus MJF, with Ring of Honor as well, the Briscoes versus FTR. So I think we could get another brutal classic on the way here, and I think this could be the place that Swerve could finally become AEW World Champion. It feels like the timing and the placement is right, in my opinion. Let's move on then to the AEW Women's World Championship, which I think will be defended in a three-way. Timeless Toni Storm, I believe, will be defending against Deonna Purrazzo and Thunder Rosa. If we go back to Revolution, of course, it was Storm versus Purrazzo. Purrazzo had Toni Storm beat, of course, before a bit of cheating got involved and Storm escaped with the championship. So I believe Purrazzo will get her rematch. Of course, the tag team match was set up and she brought in Thunder Rosa as the tag team partner, and of course Thunder got herself into the match, went into business for herself and got a pinfall over Toni Storm, which led to some celebration at the end of the match with Thunder Rosa and Deonna Purrazzo, but also potentially some friction as well. Deonna did not look impressed, so for that reason I think we're getting a three-way, and with Mercedes Moné seemingly having the attention on the TBS division at the moment, I think this leaves a nice little pathway that could even go through to Double or Nothing as well. If I had to predict this early stage, as it's a three-way, I think Toni Storm will be retaining, and to be honest with both of these ladies, I think Toni Storm will be retaining. I think she will remain the champion until we get one Jamie Hayter returning to our TV screens. So we just mentioned Mercedes Moné and the TBS division, so let's go into those two matches next. I think we will get Mercedes Moné versus Willow Nightingale. That is the unfinished business that Mercedes had from New Japan Strong, of course, that women's championship where she got injured last year. Of course, now both are in AEW doing their business on a weekly basis, so I think that is the match that we will start with Mercedes Moné in the company, and I think to start it on pay-per-view as well, we'll get extra eyes on this event, and of course I think Mercedes will get a winning start as well. However, Willow is taking part in a four-way #1 contendership tonight on AEW Dynamite, so should she win that, it would actually be Willow versus Julia Hart on this show. Someone also is having a little bit of stuff going on with Mercedes Moné since debuting as well. Could that lead to a three-way, or could it just lead to the fact that Willow or Julia could win the TBS Championship match and then take on Mercedes at Double or Nothing? It seems quite confusing. That's because it probably is. There's a lot of if, buts and maybes, and I'm sure the direction will be much clearer after Dynamite this evening. However, with that TBS Championship being on the line and me predicting we'll get Mercedes and Willow on this show, that means someone else, either Anna Jay, Sky Blue, or Chris Statlander, will be taking on Julia Hart on this show, and I'm going to predict it will be Chris Statlander because she is the partner of Willow Nightingale, someone that's actually had a bit of support for Mercedes Moné since she's come into AEW. Willow seems a bit uncertain. There was a bit of a save going on at the start, but she has tempted of hitting Mercedes with a steel chair as well. So I think that's going to break down. Mercedes and Willow will do their thing, and I think that we will see Chris Statlander go for the TBS Championship. Perhaps Willow will be upset, and maybe that could lead to a program with those two going into the summer. And perhaps Mercedes Moné will become the TBS champion against Julia Hart at Double or Nothing. We will be crowning new AEW Tag Team Champions on this show as well. A final of a tournament that is going to be taking place weekly on AEW TV over the next few weeks. As you can see the graphic on your screen right now, I will predict that the final of this will be FTR versus the Young Bucks. Yes, I know we've seen it plenty of times before, but these two teams always deliver, and somehow they would find themselves back in the center of the championship picture. I think they will do it once again. Of course, the Young Bucks now have a new gimmick since the last time these teams have fought, and I think the Young Bucks will be your next AEW Tag Team Champions. I'm enjoying the work they're doing with Okada, the new elite at this moment, the suits, the new attitude, the EVP style, and I like to think they'll start a bit of a takeover in AEW as well. And of course, I mentioned Kazuchika Okada. I think he'll be defending the Continental Championship against Pac. Pac so far seems to be, well, targeting Okada since coming back to AEW TV. We've seen him actually confront Okada on Collision. We've seen actually them being involved in a six-man tag team match, and once Okada beat Eddie Kingston for the Continental Championship, Pac made his presence known as well. So expect a one-on-one match with these two. I think it's going to be fantastic, and I think Okada will come out on top, and I wouldn't be surprised if Okada and the Elite then turn their attention potentially to those AEW Trios Championships next, because I think we'll get the Trios Championships on the line on this show. The Acclaimed and Bullet Club Gold will be taking on each other, of course. Perhaps I'd like it to be a unification match, just because I'm bored of seeing Ring of Honor titles on AEW TV. It's just a personal choice. But of course, these two trios have been together. They were supposed to go for the Undisputed Kingdom. That didn't happen, they couldn't get along, and now they're feuding with each other. The Acclaimed, of course, are the AEW Trios Champions. The Ring of Honor 6-man Tag Team Champions are Bullet Club Gold, but I think the Acclaimed will pick up the victory here, mainly because of the fact that they have the custom-made championships, and if I get my prediction of direction correct, if Okada and the Young Bucks go for the Acclaimed, for example, they can say that, well, the Acclaimed are not such great role models. You look at Max Caster's raps, Billy Gunn's past to being Mr. Arse and the Suckets, so I think they can have a lot of fun with that as being their next program after this, if the Bucks and Okada the Elite want to take over AEW and collect all those championships. I mentioned the Undisputed Kingdom. Roderick Strong, of course, is now the international champion. I think he'll be defending that strap against Kyle O'Reilly. Of course, O'Reilly is back in action after nearly 2 years out. It's great to see him back. He's got more of the NXT Cool Kyle kind of feel at the moment. I'm not sure it's my favourite gimmick. I've always preferred him as a heel, but since the fact he's not a heel at the moment and he's not joined the Undisputed Kingdom, which has been offered to him by Roddy Strong and of course Matt Taven and Mike Bennett, I think this will eventually lead to a match with Strong versus O'Reilly, which I think would be a fantastic match on the show if I'm being brutally honest, but I think Strong would retain at this moment because I think the numbers are there, plus Wardlow's job now he's out of the world title picture is to make sure that all the Undisputed Kingdom keep their titles in check. Adam Copeland is your new TNT champion, putting away Christian Cage in an I Quit match last week. It's great to see. It's been a great program, but we need to move on now. It's been going on for well over 5 to 6 months at this stage. Adam Copeland is starting to do some open challenges, but I think he will have a specific challenger in mind for AEW Dynasty, and I think it's going to be one Daniel Garcia. These two were going head to head in a number 1 contenders match when Christian Cage and his family interrupted, which is what put Adam Copeland on the shelf at the time. So I am expecting here that Copeland will say, look, I didn't beat you, you didn't beat me, let's see who the better man is for the TNT Championship at Dynasty, and I think Copeland will come out on top on this one. Last match then that I'm predicting will be Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli of the Blackpool Combat Club going against the Don Callis family. Going to go for Konosuke Takeshita and Powerhouse Hobbs to beat the opponents. My reasoning for this tag team match is because, well, we do know we've got Will Ospreay versus Bryan Danielson. Of course, those are two members also of those respective groups. Of course, Danielson being a part of the BCC, and of course as well, Will Ospreay being a part of the Don Callis family. Well, we're getting into blood and guts season, ladies and gentlemen, so I think we could be leading to those two factions going head to head. And I think even though Will Ospreay seems to be a babyface right now, I do think eventually he will be breaking away from the Don Callis family, but I think we could just keep him a part of this group for blood and guts until that point, because I think that this match currently with Will Ospreay and Bryan Danielson might not just be one and done. I think it adds a unique layer here as well because, well, Blackpool Combat Club seem to go between face and heel. You could argue in the tag team match, if it happened, that Moxley and Claudio would be faces, and you could argue that when it comes to Danielson and Ospreay, that Danielson would be heels. So different shades of grey within the same group. Same with the Don Callis family, which I think would make a fascinating blood and guts match in 2024. So that's going to be my prediction for the match card. If I had to predict the winners on this show, well, I'm going to split it up once again, I'd go for Moxley and Claudio to pick up the win for the BCC, and that can lead to some friction and Don Callis being upset with the BCC to begin with, and I think Will Ospreay does get the job done over Danielson, who will probably not be too best pleased with the fact that these are meant to be the two best pro wrestlers in the world right now, according to them, the dream match that we are getting, and of course then this can lead to tensions going after this, where it becomes faction versus faction. Maybe it's Anarchy in the arena for Double or Nothing, followed then with Blood and Guts, which could be a TV special that AEW tends to do at the moment, although with the increasingly new amount of pay-per-views we are getting, maybe it gets its own pay-per-view slot. But that's the match card predicted from me anyway. I'll give you a bit of preview and early predictions as well, should that card actually come together. But let me know your thoughts of this match card in the comments below. Do you enjoy it? If you got this for AEW Dynasty, would you be happy? And if you want to see alternative matches for this show, let me know what you think they would be. Please like, share and subscribe. Check out more videos on the side of your screen right now. Don't forget as well, when it comes around to AEW Dynasty, I will be doing predictions on the week of the show. And of course, if you want to see more content, whether it's AEW, WWE, TNA and more, keep it here on this channel. Thanks for watching. Look after yourselves. I'll see you for the next video.